When it comes to the Roblox predator problem, I am a part of this problem. This is sort of the thing is like, I actually know how bad it is because I am a predator. It's so easy to go on Roblox and find these children. It's like, they gotta stop us. They gotta stop me and all the other. I'm joking, obviously, but it is true that if you are a game like Roblox and you are so accessible to children and you are so accessible to adults, and it just seems like pedophiles are gonna have too much fun here. That's all I'm gonna say. It's basically replaced the McDonald's Playhouse, right? Remember the McDonald's Playhouse? How you'd have like the kids rolling around up in like the fucking germ-filled ball pit, and then there'd be like one guy who's like 37 who his head kind of pops out of the ball pit, and you're like, I don't think you're supposed to be doing that. I think you're preditizing kids. You know what I'm saying? This is basically the new version of that.
Social media is evolving. Gen X and boomers, they use Facebook primarily. Millennials, that's my generation if you're curious, we use Instagram, YouTube, maybe Twitter. Generation Z, that's all TikTok. But what about Gen Alpha, the youngest current generation? Presumably, if I had to guess, although data's not exactly easy to get for this, which is by design, presumably they're using a collection of YouTube, TikTok, and Snapchat while lying about their age.
Yeah, that sounds
What if I told
right.
you that the dominant platform for children ages 9 to 16 years old wasn't traditional social media at all? What if I told you it was a video game? Well, it is a video game, Roblox to be precise.
It's not just the fact that they have pedophiles on this game, but it's the fact that the game itself has so many custom cosmetics that are so obviously TOS, and no one's doing anything about it. Like, if you go to the marketplace, you can spend your fucking Robux on Ku Klux Klan attire. You can get the cloth, the robe of the KKK, and wear it in front of children. You can get porn faces put on your character, like the fucking tongue out, eyes rolled back, with yogurt on the face or whatever you want to call it, sour cream, Alfredo sauce. You can get the amount of degenerate shit in this game that they just seem to not understand exists. It's kind of mind-blowing. You can have, this is actually a real one. I've seen a shirt, a black shirt that says, I heart CP. So I don't know if that is supposed to be in the game. I would have to imagine no. I don't know if that's good for the community, I would say.
As of 2025, according to second quarter financials from the company themselves, has 111 million daily active players.
Yeah, wow.
Speaking to Bloomberg back in 2020 during the pandemic, Roblox stated that 2/3 of all United States children between the ages of 9 and 12, period, use the game.
Like one of my first dates, I actually went on a Roblox date. Yeah, so that actually was real. We did a what's called an obby. It's basically where you jump around and you just kind of, that's it. There's like little obstacle courses that aren't really obstacles because it's like kind of, I don't know how to explain. You can't lose. You really can't lose. So I basically went on an obby with this girl and she was so into it. And I was like, so Roblox is like a literal game meant for infants. And this girl who's like hot is playing it. I don't know, like, is that a red flag? That has to be a red flag, right? Like, that's got to be something where the mind should be, the neuroplasticity should not be, magnetized toward a fucking kids game. I don't know.
Which is a figure that has only increased in the time since. Thanks to a subpoena issued by the Florida Attorney General's office, we can also see that 40% of the entire user base as of 2024, which totaled 85 million at the time, 40% of their user base are preteens, suggesting that here and now, 2025, something like 45 million Roblox players are children. That comes with a very unique set of problems. First, the platform relies on what's called UGC, or user-generated content, for most of what it provides, which makes the concept of moderation immediately difficult. Second, while age verification systems do exist in the game, they're isolated to whatever content is deliberately aimed at users 17 and older, which means they can be circumvented immediately and easily by pretty much everyone. And third, the game is free to play.
This shit does not
work.
work.
Of course, free to play doesn't mean it lacks predatory.
Yeah, look at this shit. Easy, fun, obby. Guess the celebrity. Like, this is insane. You know what's also insane? So there's two things. One, any of these games you're seeing on screen, the people behind it are literally making fuck you money. Cat versus grandma with some sort of slave owner getting her teeth removed. This person who made this is making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like Squid Game, Oddworld, Geometry Blocks, Hide and Seek. These games probably take 5 hours to make, and they're going to set bloodlines up for financial freedom. It's actually crazy. Another thing, I can't be the only one that notices that all of these games look like they're fucking spyware. All these games look like if you boot them up and play them for longer than 5 minutes, there will be a rootkit downloaded to your computer that like steals your crypto wallet information and your seed phrase and takes your life savings away from you. Like, doesn't Guess the Celebrity with a fake Mr. Beast on the left look like it's gonna steal my entire like Facebook friend page or something? I don't know. This all just looks, I don't like it.
The internal currency system called Robux is rife with exploitation, psychological tricks, loot boxes, and more. But as a baseline experience, anyone in the world with a few strokes of a keyboard can make an account and jump into one of the many games that are served up in the central feed without any verification whatsoever. This is where I should probably explain better how the system actually works. Roblox is not a game in and of itself. It's an ecosystem. Instead of a game served up as a standalone experience, it's a platform creation system for tens of millions of different smaller games.
That's why you have some games on Roblox that look like they were developed by Unreal Engine. You have realistic shooter games where you have blood physics that are supposed, like they look insanely good. So some people whose talent could probably be used at NASA or like the Pentagon are deciding to offer up a pay-to-win Roblox Hunger Games survival roleplay.
Games, with air quotes around that, many of them are just chat rooms, but games, I'll call them, have been created, which players can hop into and out of at will.
Right.
Honestly, it's a very cool thing conceptually. Some of the games that they have are quite expansive, and I fully understand why it's popular in the first place. But when serving up easy access user-generated content for tens of millions of children, you start running into problems. You don't have to look very far or think very hard for that matter to figure out what those problems are.
What happened? Okay, what happened to parents? Like in general, like what happened to you have a kid that you made with sex, and that kid is now someone that you're gonna like look after. Like, I feel like that doesn't happen anymore. Like the whole looking after the kid that you made part seems to be forgotten or ignored. Like, you made this kid, and I think let's have a kid, like it sounds cool, like let's have a kid, and then you make it, and it's like kind of fun to have for like a few months, and it has its first steps, and it starts walking around shitting all over your house, and it's cool. But then it's like, I feel like you guys kind of forget that it's like not like a short, it's like not like a fucking chia pet. You have to make sure that your kid isn't getting raped on Roblox. That is part of the being a parent deal that you made, right? So when you have a kid, I think that at a certain point, you should realize that it's not just a short, like little 2-week experience that, afterward you come out on top, or, it's like a fucking Tamagotchi, right? It is sort of a thing where if you let your child get molested on Roblox, I think it does fall back on you. That's what I would say.
In 2021, Rolling Stone did an expose about how children were using the platform as a virtual strip club. Earning
So, I mean, obviously, I was a big spender at the Roblox strip club. I was throwing my Robux around, getting some ass thrown on me. I will say the lap dances are kind of steep. Can't say that they were not. They cost a little too much for the Roblox lap dance, but you gotta hustle, huh?
Robux, which
please tell me you're joking. No, absolutely not. I mean, they've thrown some of that digital ass back on me. It was fun. They were working that poll. Had to go back to fucking CVS and get me another Roblox gift card. I ran low on funds. I was a high roller there, bro.
Can then be exchanged under a certain set of criteria.
Obviously, Are you stupid? Like, Jesus Christ, bro. Are you being serious? Are you being for real? I could say anything and you guys would believe it if I delivered it in a sincere tone.
For actual money. In 2023, an indictment was handed down by the Southern District of Indiana for a New
Jersey man sentenced to 15 years in federal prison after grooming minor online and transporting her across state lines via Uber for sex. So, this is going to go ahead and not be good. We're going to probably want Arnold Castillo, 23 years old, so he needs to go to jail. And 15 years, that's good. I would prefer maybe add a 0 on there, 150. I think there's just no coming back from this, especially if you're doing it through Roblox. There's no way this was his first time. Like, he had to have had some sort of testing of his method before getting it to work this well, which I find to be terrifying.
Jersey man who would use
Bro, this guy literally used a fake name on Roblox, Jacob Sheldsky.
Used the platform to groom a 15-year-old girl, after which he transported her across state lines. He convinced the girl that her family was the enemy, and it's a horrifying depiction of events in that indictment.
Jesus.
But what isn't made clear in the document is that this man was an extremely prominent creator in the Roblox community.
Yes.
Multiple other lawsuits,
Yes.
allegations, and arrests have surfaced over the years, many
Yeah.
of them. But the most recent is a new lawsuit from the family of a 13-year-old girl this time, who says that she was groomed and kidnapped as a result of gross negligence by the company,
Yeah.
notably featuring this paragraph about why the situation is so dire.
Uh-huh.
Quote, the reason for Roblox's unlawful conduct is simple. Roblox prioritizes user growth over child safety.
This
As
is
one former Roblox employee explained in describing the
This
company's
is a
approach
big
to
one.
child safety.
Whenever you can make more money by ignoring red flags, a lot of these big companies will. Like, that's sort of the biggest thing, where if you know that your highest grossing strip club is being accessed by literal, like, 5 to 8-year-old children, will you shut it down? No, you'll just say, well, we're going to turn a blind eye to it, you know? Maybe a literal child is seeing Roblox tits and ass, which is porn, but it might not be the best for our profit margins to do that. So that is it's a common thing, right? It's a very common thing. And it's also something where I think parents should probably learn that these games that are oftentimes accessed by children are not going to be, let's just say, run with the intent, with the benefits and priorities of the children in mind, right? Because that's just not how it works.
You have to make a decision, right? And keep your players safe.
You can blame the parents on that one. You can, you have to at a certain point. You literally have to, because I'm not a father. Yet if I was, I don't think I would allow my kid to do things that I don't know about, right?
But then it would be less of them on the platform. Or you can just let them do what they want to do. And then
like, are parents just like the most retarded people alive, to where they have like foam and drool leaking out of their mouth as they foolishly, uncritically toss their kid an iPad or a tablet, and they say, have fun, do whatever the fuck you want, but don't stay up too late. Like, I swear that's all they do. They just rubber stamp the iPad approval, and that's it. It's totally like, as long as you're not on past midnight, and if you're getting up for school in the morning, you'll get extra screen time. Like, I swear that's literally it. Like, they have no clue what is being accessed, how much of it's being... I swear they don't.
Numbers all look good.
I literally grew up in the Wild West era of the internet with a ghetto-ass gaming computer in the 2000s, and my parents were capable of monitoring my computer because it was in the living room. Yeah.
But investors will be happy. Roblox's prioritization of growth over the safety of children has devastated the lives of children.
These games are basically, like I said, it's like it's like a digital ice cream machine pedophile trap, right? Like, I don't understand, if you're gonna have a game that looks like a sweet, cool, vibrant, colored exploration game that anyone can play. If you're clicking on that, you have to know that, I don't know. A lot of these games just seem like honeypots.
Use its app, including plaintiff. End quote. That is a very incendiary claim, especially when leveled at a multi-billion-dollar corporation that serves tens of millions of children per day. But it's also not the first time. According to Hindenburg Research, which is an activist investment research firm that focuses on short selling and is most famous for exposing the Nikola fraud, where a company had faked their progress on building electronic trucks. According to Hindenburg Research, not only does Roblox fake their engagement metrics, but they also create, quote, a pedophile hellscape for kids, end quote. Many of the claims in this report are extremely graphic, by the way, but the situation at that point was only just getting started. Now, in the interest of fairness, I want to take a minute and talk about what Roblox is doing for content moderation, because they are doing something. One of their most notable policies is called Sentinel, which is platform-wide, and it's full scan AI surveillance, right? That's the best way to describe it. Every message that is ever sent on their service is reviewed by this program, allegedly, which is something I'll come back to later on. But we also know, thanks to leaked internal documents posted by a disgruntled hacker in 2022, who I believe attempted to extort the company but failed to do so, we also know that they have all sorts of internal criteria for what gets moderated and how. Most interesting to me is their keyword/phrase database with all sorts of different severity rankings for things like keep this a secret from your family or wish you were younger, which indicates to me that the idea of them deliberately ignoring this kind of grooming for the sake of inflating user metrics doesn't really have teeth to it.
So this literally is just to flag the message, so they know how much of a problem it is, and this fucking little spreadsheet that looks like it was cooked up in 5 minutes is all they got. This is it. This is it.
Grooming for the sake.
How about some actual moderators and not AI systems? This is a billion-dollar company. 100 million daily users. How about 10 people looking at, hey, hi, hey, we know you're a pedophile, basically. Like, one of those people. One, you know? You know how they have, like, security guards that stop people from, like, entering places if they're underage? How about, like, one of those on Roblox? Like, literally one. Literally one fucking person to say, hey, you're a little too old to hold her hand.
Of inflating user metrics.
Honestly, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is it to make your children grow up without a phone? From 1 to 10, I'd probably give that like a 4, because if you're talking about, yeah, I mean, until he's 11 or 10, actually not so bad. Because, like, again, if you have a TV and, you know, maybe some kind of access to the internet, like, at all, like YouTube Kids maybe, like, it's probably fine. But I think social media, there's just no reason why a kid should be on there. Like, literally none. Even if it feels like they're being left out, right? Like, because that's, like, the best argument that you can make for your kid being on social media. Let's be honest, right? It's going to make them a little fucking retarded. If you think that a kid being on social media doesn't make them, like, awkward or develop some sort of, like, disorder, some sort of anxious psychopathy at a young age, you must not know, like, anything about how this stuff affects key parts of the brain, you know?
Doesn't really have teeth to it.
Like look at how many fucking adults are addicted to social media. You don't think that's gonna cook the kid?
However, just because they have moderation policies doesn't mean that those policies are sufficient. And this is where we come to a bit of a crossroads.
That's what I'm saying.
If you scroll social media right now, the overwhelming consensus, and there is a bit of a mob at the moment, is that Roblox is infested with inappropriate content and fails to moderate the platform properly. Depending on who you ask, it's anything from mildly concerning to flat out rage-worthy. So for the sake of a complete video, I decided, why don't I just go check for myself? Truth be told, I wasn't even expecting much, okay? I figured the prevalence of these issues would be wildly exaggerated for the sake of content and views by other YouTubers, and that I could maybe have a few small examples fairly easily for the sake of the video. But what I found was just completely insane. This is the tricky part. Since so much of this player base is under the age of 13, and because of how much of this content was consistently taking place, I don't have the patience or honestly the editing capabilities to censor each username, overhead message, and feed.
Yeah, pedophiles are literally jumping in these little worlds and walking around smacking the ass of, like, minors in this game. That's what's happening, and Roblox can't be fucked with to do anything about it. And let's check on the stock price. Do that real Roblox, because it is a stock. It is down 8% in the last 5 days, almost 9%. Peep that. Roblox Corp, 117 a share? Okay, you're smoking crack. What is this? Yeah, so there's a big drop here, and it's gonna drop even more. Bro, fucking sell your Roblox shares. Okay, I won't lie. The ticker being RBLX is hard. That is Aura. But unfortunately, I mean, like it's being said, what unfortunately seems to be the thing is it's not a problem until there's, like, a big thing that blows this all up, right? So what I'm worried about is that there's going to be, like, one instance of a child getting kidnapped that will have, finally people paying attention to this. That seems to be what happens, where there's a blind eye turn to most of these things until something big happens. They're like, oh, it's unignorable, right? Like, you know, like child labor is fine until the child, like, trips and falls and then his head gets sawed off. And then, like, oh, maybe children shouldn't work in factories. Okay. Only one child had to lose his head in order for that to be discovered. So I think that sort of stuff needs to be sort of, like, preemptively dealt with. Because if you're waiting until a child gets abducted to do something about moderation, then I think that is, in a lot of cases, like, worse. Like, knowing that you could have stopped this is, like, bad, right? So yeah, they only do anything when tragedy happens. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's kind of what people say about guns. You know, they say, like, oh, you know, we should do something about, like, guns before there's another shooting. And it's like, I get that logic. Like, you want to do preventative measures. But I think specifically with this, like, we're not talking about laws, right? We're not talking about making new laws. We're talking about enforcing the very basic ones of, like, hey, pedophiles need to be shot. That's not really a law, but it should be. They should be arrested at least. We can agree on that, right? You know? I don't know. Only time Roblox gets involved is when people try to sue them or expose how they're not doing anything about the predators. Hopefully.
Feed message individually as it moves across the screen.
They'll get involved.
That combined with the fact that there are people with custom character skins to resemble giant, naked, hairy men chasing smaller avatars around constantly, or the rest of the issues that I would have to censor for the sake of YouTube's community guidelines, on top of the necessary safety precautions for whatever child accounts are present here, everything combined, I'm just going to censor the whole screen. Over the years, I've done a few similar types of videos, namely about TikTok, Google Photos, and other social media platforms, some of them with quite a high number of views and about rather disgusting groups of people. So I hope I've built enough credibility to be able to do this. But for right now, you as the audience have a pretty simple choice. You can either trust what I'm telling you or you don't. That's it. If you don't want to trust me, that's fine, skip ahead. But if you are interested in trusting what I say, I spent roughly 9 minutes visiting 3 separate Roblox games, okay? Not even very much.
Yeah, this again, like, I assume what he's about to do is explain, like, the things that he saw, and if people don't believe him, I think they're fucking dumb, because in what universe, like, what, you have to ask, like, always question people's intentions, especially on YouTube when they're going after people, like, what could their intention be? I don't know what the intention against Roblox being, would be here. It's like, what, is this guy like a smear campaign for Minecraft? Like, oh, he's only attacking Roblox because he likes this other game that's competitive with it, or he's shorting the Roblox stock. You know what I'm saying? I don't think any of that's true, and I think even if it was, like, let's assume that his intention here is to say bad things about Roblox to make money. Don't think that it makes it less true. Like, the intention matters. I do think that sometimes, regardless of people's intentions, the truth about it matters more at the end of the day.
Meep City, because people describe that as one of the more problematic ones on social media, which has 3.4 million votes, 16.2 billion visits, and is described as minimal content maturity on their page. Therapy, which has 95,000 votes, 152 million visits, and is described as moderate content maturity. And then Bilberry City, 117,000 votes, 257 million plays, and all of these with thousands of concurrent players at the time. Just to be clear, I did not initially choose the more obvious ones, okay? Like
Freakcraft played Meep City, and in the first 10 seconds, he sees someone dressed up as a male genitalia. So, yeah, that was me on an alt. I thought it was funny. It didn't seem to get many people laughing. So, yeah.
Femboy Simulator, which is on the trending tab, by the way, and is all about just pumping your...
joking. What the fuck is this? Femboy
Simulator, which is on the trending tab, by the way, and is all about just pumping yourself full of as much estrogen as possible, despite being categorized as minimal content maturity.
Oh, look at that. The transgenders are back at it. The LGBTQ community is grooming more kids. Good shit, guys. Keep it up.
I spent less than 10 minutes, and during that time, I saw models designed to look like giant naked men, as I said. I witnessed people of unknown ages moving their communications off-platform, which is a TOS violation.
That's great.
I saw invitations for sexual roleplay.
Oh, yes.
I witnessed sexual roleplay directly unfolding in the offices of...
You know it's bad when Roblox sounds more like Jerkmate than Jerkmate sounds like Jerkmate, okay? Jerkmate, they're like, come have fun. You can talk with other people, and you won't be alone. And then it's like, hey, let's get pumped full of estrogen and fuck in a kid's game, you know? How is it that Roblox is literally more of a sex, like e-sex platform than the literal e-sex platform? I don't think that's good. I would argue that that's bad. I would implore the police or any person who could change this to change this.
Therapy game. I saw a detailed discussion of drugs.
Okay, that's not so bad. Detailed discussion of drugs, I feel like that one's kind of standard.
Which I didn't even fully understand, but felt like coded language, which I am familiar with, unfortunately. And people routinely opening the discussion with how old they are, or suggesting, let's have fun, or go have fun, as soon as someone else did. I don't know what percentage of all that...
They're doing drugs in Roblox? Like, can you imagine rolling off a fucking Molly in the middle of Meep City? Let's get barred out on some Xannies in the middle of Bloxburg. I'm gonna take acid and go to the Roblox town square and then moon everybody.
That is actionable by Roblox as a company, but the idea that 40% or more of their user base is under the...
Dude, this is crazy. You can literally sip lean and then get fake Roblox head.
The age of 13 is shocking, and when it comes to controversy...
Yeah, I don't get it.
This is before we even get to the worst part. Because of these issues, which I would describe as demonstrably rampant, Roblox has a sort of community moderation effort taking place, where groups of users will attempt to find the most troubling offenders, groomers or predators, I mean, and take them down independently.
Imagine you do coke and adopt me. Yeah, bro. You know what's also? I mean, they have like probably casinos you can go to in Roblox. So think about. I mean, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. This game sounds a lot cooler than I thought. I mean, you can literally sip lean, get a lap dance, and then spin Roblox slots. That does sound like one of the best things ever.
These groups operate in such a way where they also monetize their social media content in a variety of ways and gain high viewership as a result. So it's a little bit complicated owing to the fact that they have a financial incentive behind finding bad actors in the first place, as well as making the videos even more salacious if possible.
Yeah.
But that's a bit of an assault on their credibility.
This is literally just VR chat. This is just VR chat, and VR chat is hard to access because you need a VR headset, and I think there's farther restrictions around what you can access than in Roblox, clearly. But it sounds almost kind of worse and almost more degenerate. Like, oh my god. Unironically, when I was younger, I put a shit ton of Gary's mod, and it introduced me to gambling. To learn young, I would say. You know, you got to learn basic blackjack strategy because I see people at the casinos. You know, they're standing on 16s against a 10. You can't do that. You have to either surrender if there's the option or hit. And it's like, you know, at the very least, you'd hope that Roblox is teaching them things. I would hope that they can learn how to gamble.
I won't go that far. I'm just saying it's a complicated situation, all right? But I think the most important thing to consider is that this behavior isn't born from nothing. These community groups only exist because of the rampant problem. And in response to that, Roblox decided to ban the community members trying to help. Not just that, they also issued a cease and desist letter. Any YouTuber covering this kind of stuff over the years has become intimately familiar with what those are and how they work, right? Myself included. They issued a cease and desist letter to a YouTuber named Schlepp, who participates in and helps organize these kinds of efforts, stating that he should immediately cease, quote, engaging in simulated child endangerment conversations, sharing or soliciting personally identifiable information, and directing users to move conversations off platform.
So are these guys just like satanic Bohemian Grove kid touchers? Because I don't listen. My initial response is that if you're sitting here telling me that you sent a cease and desist to people trying to save children, that you probably want to fuck children. That's my first guess, right? Like, this is a note literally saying that, hey, we're Roblox. Nice to meet you. And also, we're literally going to legally force you to stop helping the children that we're hurting. I think that's crazy.
This move immediately caused backlash, especially considering the fact that there are severe and consistent violations of their policies, which appear to go unpunished, as documented by the community for years. But even if I hate to admit this, even if I think that Roblox is failing in every conceivable sense of the word when it comes to realistic or effective moderation of dangerous users, they don't really have a choice right now for the cease and desist. After the initial letter was sent, probably because of the backlash, they issued a substantial update.
So wait, they don't have a choice?
Providing much more detail on why they took this particular action. And in that update, we start to understand that the type of vigilante content that was taking place is wildly dangerous for everyone involved.
Is that true?
On the most basic fundamental...
Okay, so here's what I'll have to say, right? Whenever someone decides to do something that may not be bad, but it's showing that they're willing to take action, yet they're ignoring stuff and not taking action against something that is widely viewed to be more important, that is when people call you a fucking retard. That's when people look at Roblox and they say, well, okay, well, what about the predators? You're going to get the predator hunters and not the predators. Like, even if what they're doing here makes sense, which I don't know if it does. I'm not fucking reading all this. I actually don't. I'm not interested. It still is a horrible look to take down these people before the actual problem gets addressed.
Level, okay? Normal players banding together all over to try and weed out predators feels like a really good thing. And it is. But let me pitch you a scenario. What happens when these people start attempting to physically meet, which they routinely do? What happens when they go somewhere?
Is this like a he's here to meet a 13-year-old boy type thing?
They're thinking that they're about to get millions of YouTube views and confront a predator and get all the clout. And the person that they're meeting is armed and unstable. What happens at any point in the process when material is transmitted between parties which violates federal law by mere possession, which is something that absolutely takes place and is even a go-to tactic by the worst predators out there to begin insulating themselves. Most of you watching this have no way to know this, but after a couple of the more hard-hitting videos that I did on these types of subjects a few years ago, I had a couple phone calls with the FBI, someone working with the ICAC task force, and learned a whole lot more about just how dangerous all of this is. For the people on social media catching predators, right? That content goes viral. It gets millions upon millions of views and all the accolades and financial motivation in tow. But for the actual content creators doing it, it is dangerous. For the companies that own the platforms where it
Yeah, no shit, a predator can come to the meetup with a gun and then end your life. I also do think that most of the time, these people are so fucking dumb and they are not cautious enough to even realize that they are in a position to even be caught. Like, you don't think these people have actually, like, they really think, oh, I vetted this person, I think we're good. Like, they think they're good, so they're not going to come armed. Maybe they will. I mean, obviously it's possible, and that there's always a risk, right? But I don't know. All the ones that I've seen, they are scared shitless, and they get tackled.
happens, in this case, it's Roblox, it is a massive liability. And if
That's
we're
true.
thinking about the entire situation rationally, there really is no other way that this was going to go down. A multi-billion-dollar company cannot allow regular everyday people to impersonate children and then physically meet predators in the world using their platform as the communication base for that.
Oh.
Listen to me when I say this right now, okay? One of these YouTubers that's going viral for doing this type of stuff, they're gonna wind up dead one of these days, okay? It will happen. And the platform where that took place, they can't afford to be liable, which means they must get rid of it, as in the multi-million view YouTube channels openly talking about it online and bragging. As soon as they become aware, they're gone. Just to be crystal clear, okay, before people freak out, none of this is to defend Roblox. I think they're doing a horribly, bafflingly incomplete and incompetent job at moderating their platform. Hence the reason these people feel compelled to do this in the first place.
Yeah.
Not to mention the fact that apparently Schlepp actually has been pursuing them in multiple ways, attempting to make them aware of these problems well beforehand, even emailing them binders of material, and far beyond simply making the videos for the clout and the money. It looks like he's really doing his due diligence. But even with that said, think about this rationally. They're already facing multiple negligence lawsuits. What do we think the outcome would be if they know that there's YouTubers using their game and then physically meeting people from that game, but they choose to let
Yeah, bro. I mean, like, listen, he's not wrong. Like, I understand Roblox is liable if they're facilitating the meetup, like, regardless of if it's to help children or not. There is a threat of violence that arises from allowing this sort of stuff, and I get what he's saying here. But is there anything else here? What is this?
and did a whole bunch of things that he definitively should not have said or done, and then settled with them, paying $150,000 in the process, which is somewhat strange to me because the guy pointedly claimed, quote, I get to keep my channel and social media and I haven't paid Roblox any money, end quote, which, I mean, the document's right here, although I suppose it could have been amended. As per this, he had a judgment against him for $150,000.
Wait, what?
But anyway,
How the fuck did Ruben Sim pay 150 grand to Roblox? What is this?
Roblox
I never knew this.
has a history with this guy, so
Is it Ruben Sim? Is that what I'm right?
take that for what you will. However, if it's true that they're restricting the usage of keywords and terms about the whole debacle entirely, that's an extra step of corporate fuck
don't
up.
know.
Like, my God. But there is good news.
Yeah. Anyway, listen. I think I get the gist here. Roblox, we gotta stop with this. Okay, please do better.